Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving headfirst into a story that sounds like something straight out of a movie. It's a tale about looking past the surface, about taking a chance when everyone else sees a lost cause. Our journey begins with something truly massive and seemingly worthless: an abandoned airplane. Picture this: an old, rusted-out aircraft, forgotten by time, sitting alone in a desolate hangar. The paint is peeling, the tires are flat, and it looks more like a metal carcass than a machine that once soared through the clouds. When our protagonist decided to buy it, people thought he was crazy. Friends laughed, and even the seller seemed bewildered. Why would anyone want this heap of junk? But where they saw scrap metal, he saw a story, a mystery just waiting to be unraveled. Curiosity is a powerful thing, and it was that very feeling that pushed him to take the plunge. The day he first stepped foot inside was electric with anticipation. The heavy hangar doors groaned open, revealing the silent giant within. As he approached, the sheer scale of the plane was intimidating. He placed a ladder against the fuselage, the metal groaning under his weight as he climbed. With a heavy push, the door creaked open, releasing a gust of stale, musty air that smelled of dust and decades of neglect. It was like opening a time capsule. The silence inside was profound, broken only by the sound of his own footsteps and the creaking of the floorboards beneath his feet. Sunlight struggled to pierce through the grimy windows, casting long, eerie shadows across the cabin. Rows of seats, covered in faded, torn fabric, stood like silent witnesses to countless journeys. Old magazines lay scattered on the floor, their pages yellowed and brittle. It felt like the passengers had simply vanished, leaving everything behind. He cautiously made his way down the narrow aisle, every step stirring up clouds of dust that danced in the slivers of light. He ran his hand along the overhead compartments, the latches stiff from disuse. What secrets were locked away in this forgotten vessel? His exploration started in the cockpit. He squeezed into the pilot's seat, the leather cracked and worn. He imagined the skilled hands that once gripped the controls, navigating through storms and soaring above the clouds. The dashboard was a complex array of dials, switches, and levers, all frozen in time. He found an old flight log tucked away in a side pocket. The last entry was dated decades ago, detailing a routine flight to an unknown destination. The handwriting was neat, the ink faded but still legible. It was the first clue, a tangible link to the plane's past, and it only fueled his desire to learn more. Moving back into the main cabin, he began a more thorough search. He started peeling back the layers of neglect, literally. He lifted old, worn-out carpets, checked behind wall panels, and opened every single compartment he could find. Tucked away in a seat pocket, he discovered a woman's handbag. Inside, he found a tube of vintage lipstick, a small, ornate mirror, and a black and white photograph of a smiling couple standing in front of a famous landmark. Who were they? Was she a passenger on the final flight? Each item was a breadcrumb, leading him deeper into the human stories that were intertwined with the aircraft's history. His search continued for hours, which felt like minutes. He found old boarding passes, a child's forgotten toy, and even a stack of unsent postcards filled with messages of love and adventure. It was becoming clear that this wasn't just an empty plane. It was a repository of memories, a collection of moments frozen in time. The atmosphere was thick with a sense of nostalgia and mystery. But the most significant discovery was yet to come. He noticed an unusual section of the floor near the rear of the cabin. It looked different from the rest, almost like a hidden hatch. His heart began to pound. What could possibly be hidden below deck? With a crowbar, he carefully pried at the edges of the panel. It was sealed shut, as if someone wanted to make sure it was never opened. With a final strenuous heave, the panel popped open with a loud thud, revealing a dark, cavernous space below. A ladder led down into the darkness of the cargo hold. A shiver of excitement and a little bit of fear ran down his spine. Taking a deep breath and armed with a powerful flashlight, he began his descent into the unknown. The air below was cooler, the smell of aged metal and oil even stronger. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing a vast, cluttered space. Old cargo nets, spare parts, and empty crates were scattered everywhere. He navigated through the maze, his light scanning every corner. He was about to give up, thinking it was just another storage area, when his light caught the edge of something large and covered by a heavy canvas tarp. It was tucked away in the farthest corner, almost completely hidden from view. His curiosity piqued. He cautiously approached it. The shape underneath was large and rectangular. He pulled at a corner of the heavy, dusty tarp. It was heavier than it looked. With a great deal of effort, he managed to pull it back, and what he saw underneath made him gasp. He stood there, completely frozen, flashlight beam trembling in his hand. Underneath the tarp wasn't just old cargo. It was a collection of large, sealed wooden crates, dozens of them stacked neatly. But that wasn't the astonishing part. Sitting on top of one of the crates was a pristine, leather-bound briefcase. It looked completely out of place in this dusty, forgotten hold. With trembling hands, he reached for the briefcase. It wasn't locked. He clicked open the brass latches, the sound echoing in the silent hold. He slowly lifted the lid. Inside, perfectly preserved, were stacks of documents, blueprints, and journals, all tied together with string. As he began to carefully leaf through them, he realized what he had found. These weren't just any papers. They were the original design schematics for a revolutionary type of aircraft engine, along with the personal journals of its brilliant, reclusive inventor. The journals detailed his struggles, his breakthroughs, and his fears that his work would fall into the wrong hands. It appeared he used this very plane to transport and hide his life's work, intending to retrieve it later, but for some reason, he never returned. The crates, he soon discovered, contained the prototype parts for this groundbreaking engine. He had stumbled upon a lost chapter of aviation history, a secret trove of innovation that had been hidden from the world for over half a century. The worthless old plane was, in fact, a vault, safeguarding a legacy that could have changed the course of technology. Everyone who had laughed was now silent. The discovery sent shockwaves through the aviation community. Historians and engineers were astounded. The abandoned plane wasn't the treasure. It was the treasure chest. This incredible story is a powerful reminder. It shows us that value isn't always obvious. Sometimes the greatest treasures are hidden in plain sight, disguised as junk, waiting for someone with enough curiosity and courage to look deeper. It's about not being afraid to question what everyone else takes for granted. So the next time you see something old, forgotten, or overlooked, maybe take a second look. You never know what extraordinary secrets might be waiting to be discovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey. If you were as amazed by this story as I was, please hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure into the world of forgotten treasures. We'll see you in the next video.